Last one in my capacity of executive director of the Annaling Foundation, but I feel that this one is a special one, and because we are going to discuss questions which are essential not only for the next year but for the future of the foundation. But first of all, let me thank very much the Minister for Affairs of Lithuania for their presence here and for the continuous support at the Board of Governors of the Foundation and for the specific support we had for this meeting. Thank you very much. The collaboration, in fact, started.
Indeed, let me first start off by reacting to what Honorable Director has just said, namely alluding that Lithuania is a country that is far away from shores of Mediterranean, but the more important is the very fact that we are holding this meeting here now, today, at the time that Lithuania is holding the rotating EU Council presidency. The very fact testifies actually that we attach equally big, huge importance to all the European neighborhoods, be it eastern neighborhood, be it southern neighborhood, be it our Baltic friends, be it our Mediterranean friends. That's the message that we wanted to get across this morning.
Thank for Foreign Affairs Ministry and for Annaling Foundation for making this decision to organize this meeting here. To say the truth, is like when we first time started to work with Euronet, I was asking myself, what we as Lithuanians have in common with Euronet. Most probably geographically you will see that we are not so close to the city.
I just want to give you some practical guidelines. We will have all-day meeting here. Afternoon, I think you have two working groups. One working group will work next door, one group will stay here, and one will go downstairs. We will put the arrows that you will find those rooms. We will have 2 coffee breaks just outside, as well outside in this corridor. We will have a small lunch for smokers. Actually, it is allowed to smoke, but not in the building, not in the other facilities. But we do have here, just in front of you, there is a little corridor and a little shacht, almost outdoor shacht, where you can go and smoke. I don't think you will go with
Today will be a tougher day. We will enter in the questions we want to share with you. I'm not sure we will be able to think out of the box as we were requested now, but if I am not capable, probably I've been for too long in the box to think out of the box. It's your role to open the box. And
how long might this take before we find a solution, and what will we do if there is no solution in the end? I don't think that we should discuss that in detail now, but I think we have to recognize it as a reality.
I would be fair to say that there are very small steps taking place. And this is important because we can, in the long run, we will see a change of mentality. The politicians are being more and more discredited, but I forgot one point which is really related to us, and this is the effect it has on the NGOs. First and most important thing, of course, is the lack of money. The lack of money and the lack of funding and the lack of trust is very essential. The thing is that the absence, the government's inability to finance or support such projects would lead to the NGOs turning to other sources. Many of them, and this is actually
سلطة كتير كانت تمتلك كمصريين من عملية التوريث، وفقدان الأمل من جانب كثير من المصريين أن يكون هناك تغيير حقيقي وتحول ديمقراطي. تنحى الرئيس مبارك أو نحي غصب عنه في 11 فبراير 2011 11 وترك المهمة لمجلس عسكري. هذا المجلس العسكري ظل يحكم حتى 30 يونيو 2012. في ظل حكم المجلس العسكري كان هناك 3 حكومات لم تتوقف الاحتجاجات ولا المظاهرات ولا أحداث العنف في الشارع المصري. خلال نفس الفترة أجريت انتخابات مجلس الشعب وانتخابات مجلس الشورى، فاز فيها التيار الإسلامي بأغلبية ساحقة. كذلك أجريت الانتخابات الرئاسية وكان الصراع والمنافسة بين تيارين، أحمد شفيق يمثل النظام السابق.
These numbers are so huge. We have it's estimated by the year 2013, the whole number of the refugees in the whole region will reach 3 million Syrian refugees. Around 1.5 million they are in Jordan, and countries, of course, are hosting them. Of course, we are a hosting country, but this is becoming a very difficult situation. Has a great effect on Jordan, on the economy level, and there are great
l'archéologie de cet exercice à partir de l'année 2001. Nous avons tous les documents, tous les dossiers, même nationalité interactive, et je peux vous dire que nous sommes vraiment dans une situation de maturité qui est nécessaire pour les défis et pour l'enjeu que nous avons devant nous. Tournons à l'Italie et au problème de Lampedusa. C'est une situation scandaleuse. Scandaleuse surtout parce que la Commission européenne et son président, M. Barroso, quand il est venu à Lampedusa, il a parlé de la Méditerranée de la compassion. En tant qu'il faut parler de la Méditerranée de l'accueil et de la coexistence. C'est sur ce travail que nous avons plongé les activités de réseau italien déjà à partir de l'année passée, avec les laboratoires méditerranéens qui se sont déroulés à Lampedusa. Et c'est sur cette action que nous avons sollicité la participation du pape François à Lampedusa, même pour donner un signal fort, et même avec des petits détails auxquels nous avons contribué, comme la construction avec le poids des bateaux affondés dans la mer, du symbole religieux, c'était une cri d'alarme pour tout le monde. Pape François, il a repris un conseil que nous avons fait à Lampedusa avec le travail de notre réseau, avec l'exercice que vous avez fait, et c'était la globalisation de l'indifférence. C'était un conseil qui est sorti de notre travail et qui est allé dans tout le monde. Mais le problème de Lampedusa, c'est un problème politique. Parce que c'est impossible qu'un pays comme l'Italie n'est pas capable de contrôler à 400 mètres de ses côtes l'arrivée de bateaux ou d'autres choses. Il a été suffisant de mettre en place une force de grands bateaux qui s'appelle Mare Nostrum, et à partir d'il y a un mois et demi, il n'y a pas aucun mort dans la mer. Ceux qui se trouvent en difficulté sont accueillis. Bien sûr, il a un coût d'1 million d'euros par jour, mais quelle est la valeur de 450 morts décédés et d'autres choses. Un autre travail intéressant que nous avons fait aussi avec l'aide de notre Fondazione Mediterraneo, c'est un programme qui s'appelle Voix des migrants. La police en Italie fait une fiche d'identification des migrants qui est seulement technique. C'est comme des animaux, sont des nombres. Donc vous êtes Michel, nombre 12, vous êtes femme ou homme, vous avez 40 années, c'est terminé l'histoire. Au contraire, nous sommes en train de faire une identification culturelle. Pourquoi vous avez quitté votre pays? Qui vous a donné l'argent pour venir ici? Quels sont les problèmes que vous avez eus pendant votre transport? Et là, il y a des choses vraiment absurdes et des choses criminelles, surtout sur les femmes. Il y a des femmes de l'Érythrée qui ont passé un mois, ils ont été prisonniers, ont été violés, ont été maltraités avant de faire la dernière traversée qui, quelquefois, signifie la mort dans la mer. C'est un problème politique de l'Europe, parce que Lampedusa c'est la porte de l'Europe, ce n'est pas la porte de l'Italie, qui doit être résolu avec des choix politiques de l'Europe. Mais malheureusement, nous sommes dans une situation de crise qui n'est pas une crise seulement économique, c'est une crise surtout politique. En Italie, nous avons une classe politique minuscule qui ne représente pas l'ancienne tradition politique italienne. Il y a des petits hommes qui viennent aussi de la société civile, mais qui n'ont pas la maturité, la professionnalité pour les défis politiques qui sont sur le terrain. Ils passent le temps seulement à des questions de pouvoir, ils poursuivent l'amour pour le pouvoir, pendant que nous avons besoin du pouvoir de l'amour pour les défis qui sont sur le sur le terrain. La même chose c'est en Europe. Et la chose incroyable, c'est qu'on manque en Italie une opposition à l'Europe.
I'm not joking, but it's very hard, 1 minute of exercise with can you just sit down and stretch out?
Par rapport à l'Union européenne et par rapport à l'évaluation, parce que c'était pas évident. Alors, c'est vrai que la méthodologie était bonne. Tout d'abord, vous n'avez pas parlé, je trouve que c'était essentiel, la séance inaugurale et la séance de clôture. C'était des séances intelligentes parce qu'une journaliste syrienne, une blogueuse égyptienne, un réseau, le réseau français parce que nous accueillons, des hommes politiques, des sportifs comme Lilian Thuram. C'était un panel très intelligent avec des gens dans la salle qui ont été, c'était le début, qui ont été...
Beaucoup avec tant d'enthousiasme. Puisse continuer. Et donc, on a simplement vous dire qu'on a constitué déjà formellement. On vous a passé ce matin, Esther, le communiqué de presse. La Fondation des femmes de l'Euro-Méditerranée, Mediterranean Women's Foundation, à laquelle participe comme organisme fondateur la Fédération de la Ligue démocratique des droits des femmes en France, le CATOIR, le Rosemec, le l'IMED chez nous et le Forum méditerranéen des femmes. Et ça veut dire la Fondation des femmes de la Méditerranée, le réseau universitaire et scientifique de la Méditerranée sur le genre et les femmes Rosemec, le Forum des femmes méditerranéennes, l'IMED et la Fédération de la Ligue démocratique des femmes du Maroc. Et le CATOIR qui a, comme vous le savez, comprend 22 pays et des organisations de 22 pays et qui a le secrétariat
d'activité pour qu'ils puissent visibiliser et le réseau algérien qui était au balbutiement, à ses balbutiements, et aussi à la visibilité de la Fondation Mediterranée et de ce qu'elle porte comme valeur et comme principe sur ces questions de diversité, d'individualité, etc.
First of all, I would like to thank you because you invited me to pay a visit to visit the Egyptian African community activity, which was held last month in Cairo. And at the beginning, I must admit that I was going there with the prejudice that there is a completely different situation concerning the civil society organizations in Egypt and in some of the Balkan countries, including my country. But I realized when I went there that it was much more similarities than differences between our two societies.
Alors, j'aimerais être bref. C'est un programme qui est dédié à la jeunesse des pays arabes et notre action a été une action extraordinaire avec la participation de plus que 60 participants, dont 30 qui étaient donc en dehors de la Tunisie, 21 nationalités, dont 9 nationalités arabes. Donc il y a eu plus que 12 nationalités européennes qui ont participé donc, à cette action, qui est s'intitule La jeunesse euro-méditerranéenne face à la crise. Tout ça pour dire qu'on travaille tous pour un but commun, pour un rêve commun de cette région-là, que même pour les programmes qui sont dédiés aux Arabes pour des raisons qu'on connaît tous, donc suite au printemps arabe et aux révolutions, notre destin a été depuis toujours un destin commun et on veut toujours le concrétiser et le confirmer. C'est un choix du réseau tunisien, c'est un choix du réseau algérien, c'est un choix du réseau marocain dans cette action-là. Et d'ailleurs, ça a été, j'espère, avec les observateurs qui étaient là, une réelle réussite parce que ça aboutit à une participation suite à ce forum, à l'appel à la proposition de Annalyn, avec 16 partenaires de 8 pays différents. Donc 8 pays différents, 16 partenaires, ils sont convenus lors de cette action de participer ensemble à un appel à proposition. Il y a eu énormément d'actions.
Alors, en fait, moi je voudrais d'abord introduire, en parlant un tout petit peu du programme Dawlak, qui est un programme extraordinaire, comme vous le savez tous, qui a été aménagé en faveur des sociétés du Sud, et notamment arabes, donc de la Fondation. Les statistiques ne sont pas là, elles n'ont pas été apparemment mises dans les statistiques que Johanna nous a présentées, mais je me félicite déjà de la présence du Sud dans les statistiques. Ils ont été extraordinaires et je pense que ça justifie amplement l'existence de ce programme.
Yes, maybe if Caroline can share how they are, or...
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah,
It is the 10 years and particularly in the last phase. But to what extent we should consolidate and to what extent we should innovate? I think that's a very crucial question. I will advocate for consolidating the main programs of
sessions,
the foundation.
a brainstorm, a place to generate ideas, to discuss different options. I will say that I think this discussion group in particular has potential for that, because we're talking about an activity which is in a year's time. We're talking about an activity which I think can be quite innovative and needs some creative approaches. So I do think, even if it's early morning, we have to use this session really to generate as many ideas as we can, because we have the potential to really shape something quite interesting next year. Again, just to say what's I think already very clear, but 2014 itself is an important year for the foundation. It's a milestone year. On the one hand, because we're going to celebrate the 10 years since the creation of the Euromed Foundation. On the other hand, we're coming to the end of a phase, as you know, and we'll be preparing to launch the new phase as well. So with those three elements, it means that next year is a particularly important year. And as I said, the focus of what we're talking about now is this 10-year anniversary dimension as well, and which way we can leverage the fact that the Anne-Lind is coming of age to the benefit of all the things we've discussed in the last 2 days. Just for the context, to be clear about the framework, if you like, where we'll be working in next year. Firstly, next year, as underlined in the quote there, has already been branded to some extent a year of the Mediterranean due to where the presidencies of the European Union are taking place in Greece and then in Italy. It means that Mediterranean affairs will be very much on the agenda at the European Union level, and therefore at the Euro-Mediterranean level as well. So, firstly, that's in terms of the context of 2014. And at the same time, it's worth also noting something, Michele, Italy represents the last Mediterranean country, one of the last main country that will host the EU Council until something like 2022.
22-0.
So it means that, again, it's an opportunity that at the institutional political level we want to use to underline the centrality of Mediterranean in the European Union's external affairs as well. Just to update you what's happened so far, firstly the Italian government, the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through the Anne-Lind Board of Governors, has formally confirmed its interest in hosting an important activity during the presidency. The idea, more precisely, they've spoken about is a major gathering at the end of October in Napoli, in Italy, under the presidency. So that's, again, in terms of the formal, that was something brought to the last Board of Governors of the Anne-Lind Foundation, was endorsed at the level of the board, and also received an endorsement at the Advisory Council of the Anne-Lind Foundation, which took place in Lisbon 2 weeks ago. So again, that allows us, at the level of the foundation, its headquarters, its networks, to start planning in a very clear way with that perspective as well. Again, just to update on the elements until now that we see we can go ahead in terms of the planning. Firstly, as you may have seen in the annual work plan 2014, the idea that three of the main institutional meetings we have to have next year anyhow, which means the annual meeting of the heads of network, it means the advisory council meeting for 2014, it also means one of our board of governors, can now be planned in a way to make sure that we gather the main bodies of the Anne-Lind in Napoli at the end of October. So that's something, again, which is, these are three important meetings we would normally have in 2014, but the idea to create a critical mass to get all of the Anne-Lind people institutionally into one place is something already we've put inside the work plan for next year, and should be signed off formally at the Board of Governors in a few days' time. So that's, again, our starting point is the Annalin bodies being in Italy next year. At the same time, the Italian network of the Annalin has already had discussions about the idea of holding its General Assembly or an important gathering of its members through the Annalin work. You know, we have some figures there that if we can give them the right messages, I think can play an important role in communicating to the different stakeholders, to the Euromed bodies, to the European Union. This is the kind of perspective for the Annalin Foundation in going forward in its next decade of activity. Making use of the report, which again is linked to what I said before. And as I said, also linked to this idea of evaluation. One thing that's emerged, not just in the context of this, but more generally a discussion we've had in the headquarters is how the next year we're going to have to demonstrate not only our impact in terms of how many countries, how many activities, which types of activities, but also in terms of have we had an impact on the hearts and minds of people. And this is a key, this is at the end of the day what we're set up to do. So trying to get inside the stories of our projects, trying to get inside the human stories, the individuals who've travelled to the forum or the individuals who've led a project, and trying to understand to what extent the Annalins had a real impact on the ground or a real impact on the individuals beyond the statistics of our work.
Bon, si je parle en français, vous me comprendez? Oui?
Parla in italiano, ti traduco in inglese.
No, non è meglio. I motivi per cui è importante questo evento sono essenzialmente questi. Napoli è una città al centro del Mediterraneo, è stata definita come una delle poche città capaci di pensare europeo e respirare mediterraneo, nel senso che sintetizza lo spirito europeo e quello mediterraneo.
The idea to have the celebration of Naples is due to several reasons, and among them is that Naples is like a Mediterranean city which is able to breathe Mediterranean and think European.
A Napoli durante tutto il 2014 ospita il Forum Mondiale delle Culture.
Also in 2014 Naples will host the World Forum of Cultures.
E questa serie di eventi prevede anche un incontro con i premi Nobel per il dialogo e la pace.
So the Nobel Prizes for Peace and Dialogue will also meet in Naples.
E ci sarà la visita anche del segretario generale dell'ONU, Ban Ki-moon.
There will be also the visit of the General Secretary of the UN, Ban Ki-moon.
Non ultima considerazione è che Napoli è la sede della Fondazione Mediterraneo,
Naples is also the headquarters of the Fondazione Mediterraneo,
che è stata insieme all'IEMED la promotrice della Fondazione Annalin,
which together with the IEMED was one of the main promoters for the establishment of the Annalin
e questo palazzo nel cuore di Napoli che è stato realizzato con l'adesione e la partecipazione dei 43 paesi, quindi è come se fosse casa vostra, casa nostra.
And the foundation was established like by 43 countries, and so we believe that the Fondazione Mediterraneo is like the house of all of us.
E non ultima considerazione, questo edificio ospiterà il Museo Mediterraneo delle Arti, della Musica e delle Tradizioni, dedicato ai 42 paesi dell'UPM.
And also in our building we will soon open the museum dedicated to the arts, music and tradition of the 43 countries of the Union for the Mediterranean.
E ospita alcune sale dedicate ai principali organismi internazionali, all'UNESCO, al Parlamento europeo, eccetera.
In this museum there are like specific like halls dedicated to international organizations such as UNESCO and others.
Il museo è diretto da un comitato scientifico internazionale. Sì, no, aspetta, è importante questa cosa qua. Vai. No, sto dicendo la cosa più importante. È diretto da un comitato scientifico internazionale.
The museum is managed by an international scientific committee
Che ha stabilito che insieme alla UNESCO, al Parlamento europeo, possa avere una sala permanente di esposizione multimediale, video, eccetera, anche la Fondazione Annalin.
which has decided that the Annalin Foundation, together with UNESCO and the other international institutions, might have like a specific dedicated hall or section.
e per me è una sala dedicata alle reti.
So for me, I think this can be a section or a hall dedicated to all the networks.
Che in questo spazio possono raccontare la storia,
In order to tell their stories, their origins, and their development.
ma con i sistemi multimediali di connessione anche il work in progress, cioè che cosa stanno facendo.
Multimedia and other tools like to show the progress and the life of the
Quindi è un'occasione irripetibile per avere uno spazio permanente in un grande museo, in una grande città, che racconti la storia dell'Annalind, ma anche il lavoro che le reti fanno in progress.
So he thinks that this can be a unique opportunity to offer the foundation also a permanent space where to showcase our work and the life of the networks.
Per cui, come prima suggestione, se si pensa a un portale multimediale, Paul, e anche a un canale video dedicato, di che cosa le reti vogliono mettere su quel canale perché si possa vedere nel museo. Io vado nella stanza, canale aperto, anche su YouTube, cioè con una chiave d'accesso. Io vado in quella stanza, dico fammi vedere le reti che cosa stanno facendo e vedo Irlanda che ha fatto una cosa con l'intervista a lei, Malta che sta facendo un lavoro, un'operazione comune, e c'hai questa visibilità diciamo così istantanea che sta così.
Video material about each single country, each single network. For example, if they want to see videos about actions, common actions, or other network activities made in Ireland or in other countries.
Secondo noi l'occasione di Napoli è importante per due obiettivi fondamentali. Uno, capitalizzare il lavoro dei 10 anni dell'Annalind, e due, approfittando della rara occasione di avere simultaneamente Board of Governor, Consiglio Consultivo, Capofila delle Reti, l'ex Presidente Prodi col gruppo di saggi, i Ministri della Cultura, i commissari europei e tutto il resto, mettere una forte opzione, un forte peso affinché la Fondazione Annalind si trasformi e venga riconosciuta come istituzione che possa avere un budget strutturale sia per il segretariato e sia per le reti. Come Capofila abbiamo dimostrato di essere in gamba, bravi. È impensabile continuare un lavoro con i meccanismi complessi o con le elemosine che ci danno. Se ci sono degli stati che ci sostengono, questo obiettivo si può raggiungere.
So he thinks that this celebration will be important for two main reasons. One is to show, to give the right importance to the work that has been done in this last 10 years, and the other is that to take advantage of the unique opportunity of having together the BOG, the AC, and the representatives together with the heads of network, the representatives of the Group de Sage, the ministers of cultures of the different countries, and EC, EU commissioners, in order to stress the importance of the institutionalization of the Annalind Foundation, so the ALF becoming a permanent structure with a structural and also defined budget, so that we end, let's say, this phase in which we have to beg constantly have to beg for money, for resources, without a long-term perspective.
No, may I just be clear, because I'm supposed to be taking these notes. What is the name of the actual building? Sorry?
The museum.
The museum
As well.
Yeah. What's it?
Qual è il nome del museo?
Museo Mediterraneo delle Arti, della Musica e delle Tradizioni.
That's what I thought. So
Museum of Art, Music and Traditions.
Mammat si chiama, Mammat, tua mamma. Tua mamma. Museum of Arts and Music and Tradition.
Music of Arts, Music and Tradition.
Yes.
So it goes by Mama, yes.
Yes. Mammat. Neapolitan speech is mother. Mammat.
Ah, yes.
Quanto è bella Mammat, beautiful mother.
Central Mediterranean Museum of Arts, Music and Tradition.
Yes.
Okay. It's like MoMA in,
yes.
you know, an American.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, okay, now forget my report. I think it's an absolutely brilliant idea. I mean, we have a place, we have a time, and we have time, you know, because it's October. It's going to be October, November.
Yes.
And do you definitely have the building during October? I mean, other people obviously have used the building.
Che dite?
L'edificio, cioè dice, tu hai la disponibilità dell'edificio, hai la disponibilità.
Certo, è la sede della fondazione.
The headquarters of
The museum si identifichi, la vostra casa non c'è problema. No problem.
Okay, I like this.
Ci sono 20 sale 20 conference hall. From, da 500 a 100 posti.
From 100 to 500 places.
C'è il ristorante interno, il bar, very beautiful panorama. The memory of Mediterranean country. Viva l'Irlanda! E l'Ungheria.
No, when we make the presentation, instead of talking
Anna,
about
the first meeting of advisor council in this building, the first.
Yeah, so when we give the report,
The conference, Euro-Mediterranean conference, the Italian presidents before 10 years, Minister of Foreign Affairs in this building. In this building, very, very historical memory of Mediterranean region. You have a visit, la visita dei 35 capi di Stato sono venuti del Mediterraneo. 25 head of country and government visit in this building.
All the items are already there. Good.
This is very, very good atmosphere. No anonymous hotel. Very, very.
And what are your other reflections? I mean, at this stage.
No, I mean, I think, really. I mean, we have actually a place, a time, which is hugely important. We have a building that we can, you know, this can be because my idea when I came before I knew about this, I thought we have to make either a place or a person, you know, the focus. And I mean, we have the place.
Yes.
Yes, it is already there. It's already there. It's already there.
Okay.
Yes, you know.
So during the visit, practically, we will be able to see all the countries, all the items, which each country represents.
You know, clearly and hopefully, honestly. You know, but people are afraid to go to Egypt. You know, because they think, first of all, you know, there's visas. You know, there's language difficulties. I mean, you have the same problem, I know, coming to our countries. But because there's fighting and everybody's afraid, yes. And I think that is actually the key.
But ELF has a better way to do that.
That's what we have to keep in mind.
Yes, it is.
Because the visibility.
The Advisory Council meeting, the meeting of the Nobel Prizes that he has said.
È la visita di Ban Ki-moon.
And who is the target group? No?
And what are your thoughts? What do you think?
Because I think if we are preparing such a big event, it would be very nice to make it public. For example, Napoli is let's say, anarchic city, so you can make, for example, screenings outside. The temperature is good, so we share a little bit our knowledge with the others, and I think it's a good city because of the migration, because of the variety of the people, so we can involve them also in workshops, and but it depends on how we decide if it's a public event or if it's for us.
Okay. Robert, your thoughts?
Well, now in this moment, I mean, I don't have no any extraordinary addition, but I'm sharing the excitement of that, and I really go for what was proposed, you know, to be a balance between the cultural aspects and scientific approach, you know, like, you know, especially from the historical and social moments in the area, you know.
Yeah.
And it's definitely one of the most special areas in the world, you know, somehow, you know, it's not so big, but on the other side, it's so diverse. And still, we are talking so much about the dialogue and intercultural dialogue, but we have so many cases of extreme non-dialogue, you know, Israeli-Arab situations, you know, Turkey-Cypriot non-dialogue situations, you know. I think that somehow we have to tackle that, you know. These are the painful moments, the painful aspects of this area in our work, but somehow we are here, you know, to overcome that.
Organize that outside.
Okay. No? No?
I would like to add something. Sorry. I think you're absolutely right. We shouldn't just talk about these nice, you know, Mediterranean. It's fine, but I think it is also a very hot region, and I think this is actually something we could use in our favor. And I think it's better to attract media attention through a good, you know, content rather than through a public figure who is, because we already have the attention if the Ban Ki-moon is coming and all these people are there.
Well, we don't know this.
Well, it's also more interesting rather than having only the story of each man.
Already, and then Andrea's point about Rome as well and how to kick off the event. So I think there's some clear points there. And do you want to just any?
No, I just loved your story about Istanbul and the penguins last
night. You know, when these events started in Istanbul last June, the Gezi movement, the first day national media didn't bring anything. The second day they didn't bring anything, private and state media. And instead of reporting about the bigger getting demonstrations, they broadcasted a documentary on penguins.
Yes.
And
of the content of the convention through a task force group and in the selection process of the participants. So we would like a clear ownership
of the Euromed board in general. The contra voices said the system as it is doesn't really function. Mainly the selection system was criticized, but the group came to a conclusion which is actually pro Euromed award because it is important for the visibility, but it has to be made more prestigious. There were suggestions in regard to the jury of the Euromed award that members should be renowned personalities. They should be represented in the jury, as well as there should be a regional parity between North and South, and there should be also some experts represented in the jury. Each year there should be a different thematic focus, and one could use best practices from some member countries, such as Montenegro in the Netherlands, where they have experience with such awards. And the final conclusions were that it is important to keep it, but that the nomination process has to be adjusted. It shouldn't be limited, and votes after final list is made. I have my notes. Everyone can vote on the long list then, and it should be connected with the cash prize, approximately 5,000 euros. And a gala ceremony when this award is handed over, and it should be handed over by the previous award winner to the winner of that year, and that could be also recorded and put online as a video. These were the main conclusions and topics of that working group. The other working group of the morning was ALF anniversary and ALF 10 plus. How to, contribute to that to this event which is planned. And we have the where, which is Naples. We have the when. This is October 2014. We have the what. This is a celebration. We have to celebrate ourselves, or we should be celebrating ourselves, of what we have achieved and what we're looking ahead.
And we have a why. Why are we doing this? Because it is a question of visibility. This is one of the big questions of Anna Lindh. And it would help to increase visibility. And then we discussed in that group how to increase this visibility. There was the idea to bring in or to invite some famous public figures to the event. But on the other hand, this event should be also part of a bigger series of events taking place in Naples, such as it is part of the Italian presidency, and there is taking place or planned to take place a meeting of 42 ministers from Euromed countries, and Ban Ki-moon is also expected to come to Naples in these days. So the idea is to place this event in that week where all these things are going to take place in Naples. In order to increase visibility, it was also suggested by the director to have a side event in Rome, which is probably a better place to target international but also national Italian media. But it is not only about the how, we also discussed what should be done in this event, and points were raised that this is one of the hottest regions on the globe, and we should also tackle the hot issues, as the Euromed region is a laboratory for innovation but also for crisis. And then Anne suggested to go for the penguin effect, which is very much connected to a Turkish experience. If you remember last June when the Gezi movement started off in Turkey, the protests in Taksim, national media did not broadcast the protests, and instead they put on TV a documentary on penguins, and then people started to protest against this weak media coverage, and they started to wear penguin T-shirts, and penguins appeared in protest placards and so on. So, and someone asked the Turkish newspaper commentator asked, how could it become that a penguin in a country without penguins, a penguin could become the symbol of resistance. So the idea is to create or find something absurd, and maybe where everyone and all networks could also link in. And we also thought of linking this thematic focus of that event with the insights gained from the Anna Lindh report. The next working group was on the question how to bring in Syria or the crisis going on in Syria into the work of Anna Lindh. And it was debated that Anna Lindh... Okay, they're not that you can sit down.
I will do this rather quick. I was given 7 minutes. I'm already half minutes into that. So.
Then we thank also, of course, the people of the Program on Operations Unit, Gemma, who is now on the stage, Eleonora, Johanna, Khaled, who arrived yesterday, and Noha, the people of Admin and Finance. They arrived, as you have seen, the last day, because they are, as you can imagine, a little bit busy in the situation we have now, but I want to thank very much for his contribution, Peter Henawi and Karim Morkos, who are there. And finally, of course, the office of the Executive Office with Paul Walton, Sarah, and Doha, which have been doing a great job in terms of communication. And I put at the end Hoda, because now Hoda, she's part of the Executive Office. She is now my assistant and the assistant of the director. As you know, Shireen left. A very good place at the University of Dubrovnik, and she's very happy to be there. And I want to thank our friends in Croatia, which have helped her to get this post at the University of Dubrovnik. So Hoda is now my assistant and the assistant of President Adorno, but she requested from the very beginning, she requested to be in charge of the logistics of the head of network. It is something she cannot conceive to be put aside. And we said, of course, yes, and please, an applause for all of them, and particularly for Hoda, who's been doing a great job. Where only granting activities, if the 3.6 million were launched in grants, which is one of the possible models of the foundation, which will contradict the statutes. But well, theoretically, this is a possible model. Okay, there will be more grants, but the foundation will not be capable to have the kind of, let me say, personality that the foundation had after 10 years. There's another, let me say, particularly after the Forum of Marseille, which can be criticized in many questions, but what we demonstrated in the Forum is that the Foundation can play a role of broker between civil society and institutions. And this is not something irrelevant. This is something very important today, or kind of. It doesn't make sense. That there's no way to fit the whole needs and possibilities in one problem. That's not it. So we should more and more work with this idea that having a core budget, a core program, a core strategy, which is essential for the identity and the visibility of the foundation, the networks have the possibility, have the means, have the capacity to give some national identity of the foundation. And maybe also the discussion, and I finish on this point, the discussion you had today among the clusters has also to do with that kind of approach. In which way the creation of some clusters, bottom up, I would say, not just imposing, we don't have to impose, we don't have to give them to tough diagrams. No? People can gather not having a common formal closing session. But it's up to you if you want to have, because you think that today the output of the meeting will not clear enough and we need tomorrow another formal meeting, we go for the formal meeting. So what do you prefer? A meeting like this one tomorrow for wrap-up, or sur l'innovation en matière de programme. Il y a cette question de ce mot, de social enterprise qui parcourt la fondation depuis un certain temps. C'était déjà comme ça au Forum de Marseille, et ces 3 jours ici, on en a parlé un peu partout. Moi, je suis pas un expert en la matière, mais j'en vois l'intérêt. Je dis Esther, je ne sais pas si tu étais là, mais j'ai parlé des 4D dans un des 4 principes essentiels qui doivent être là, qui ne sont pas soumis à n'importe quel dilemme. Et je crois qu'il y a besoin d'aller au-delà. Je crois qu'il y a besoin de travailler sur une déclaration que je n'appellerai pas déclaration politique, mais qui sera en fait une déclaration politique de la Fondation Mediterraneo. Je peux vous dire que nous en avions parlé avec le secrétariat pour le forum. J'avais même, moi, écrit un draft d'une déclaration politique, que par la suite je n'ai pas eu le courage d'introduire dans le forum, parce que j'ai pensé que ça n'allait pas être le moment opportun, il y avait trop de monde, c'était un peu portélique, mais elle est même écrite, ça peut servir peut-être de... Donc je crois qu'il faut travailler, et je crois que Naples est l'endroit où il faudrait approuver cette déclaration. Il ne faudrait pas dire déclaration politique, parce que si on dit ça, ça va soulever particulièrement encore